Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You recording it?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Garrett Ricardo with my co-host Ryan Mizzoso, and together we are the Distance Theory Podcast. And so today's episode, we'll be talking about just race prep, especially at the end of the season and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah. Most high school and college, like, this is it. You got like what, 2, 3 weeks left, if that. And
Yeah, championship,
and
championship season.
I have a lot of experience running at the state meet, so I'm not gonna give all my secrets away. So
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Ryan was a one-time state qualifier. He rode the bus all the way up to the state meet and back. So
alternate for the 4x8. Um, yeah, which I appreciate that trip, Garrett, for you
oh yeah,
take.
man, had to put you on my back, man. What can I say?
But I have coached state qualifiers, and
Yeah, yeah,
I coach Garrett.
yeah.
So but yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like with my runners, they don't really get nervous that much. To be honest, I get more nervous than they do. I don't think it's nerves. I just think I get excited, but
They're
just
good
kind of,
nerves.
yeah, I'm just so excited to be there. And it's just, but I don't think the kids realize like how big of a meet it is. I guess Um, I don't even know where we should start with this one. Um,
Well, I guess we'll just start with nerves. How to control nerves. Um, so there's two different ways you can let your nerves get to you. Well, you can have them help you, or you can let them destroy you before a race and have you run like shit. Um, and obviously the best option would be to, you know, have them go in the good direction instead of the bad. Um, so handling nerves. I mean, everybody gets nervous before the races. It doesn't matter how experienced you are at running, how many I've been running for what, 13 years now. I still get nervous before every one of my races. Um, but when I was little, I mean, I didn't really know how to control those nerves. But as I've learned throughout my high school and collegiate competition, just competing and everything, um, don't focus on the race a week out from running it, because that's gonna do you no good. It's literally gonna tire you out mentally. Like, I'm a day out from a race right now, approximately like 24 hours. I'm not nervous right now because I'm not racing till tomorrow. I'm not gonna let that get to me like 24 hours before my race, because I'm gonna be defeated mentally if I'm just thinking about it constantly. Like, oh, what should I do about this? Like, what if this happens in the race? Like, it's never good to obsess about anything, especially um, a race and what's gonna happen in it. So that's number one. Um, Number two, I mean, self talk is just probably one of the best practices to master when it comes to just being mentally well going into a race and mentally strong. I mean, me and Ryan have talked about it. I know he wants to say something right now, probably about it, but running is very mental. It's very, very mental. You can be in the best physical shape of your life and still run one of the worst races of your life, right?
yeah, I mean, I was hearing a podcast the other day, and they were saying like, if you're not you have to have a reason why you're pushing yourself. Like, you're pushing yourself to like pure exhaustion. So you better damn well have a reason why you're running hard as you are right now. And
Yeah,
if you don't have that reason, you're not going to push yourself. You know what I mean? You're not going to have that extra boost of energy to go that last lap when your legs are on fire, just pure lactic acid. Everything just hurts.
yeah.
Um, the only thing I was going to say is like, every kid on that line is going to be somewhat nervous. So if you realize that everyone's nervous, then you kind of like you were one of the best runners your senior year, and you still were nervous at the regional meet. I mean, I remember being with you, and you were
There's
like,
always gonna be something that come up. Like, I mean, for me, like senior year, I kind of didn't really do too good of a job about it, but like after I PR'd and I was like the top runner in our region, and like top 4 in the state or whatever it was. Like thinking about it, I was just like, damn, now I have a target on my back. I'm no longer this kid that like comes out of nowhere. Like people know me and people are gonna be like expecting me to like do these things. Now I feel like people are gonna be going after me during races, but it doesn't change. It shouldn't change. Like you really just have to do a good job of just controlling your thoughts and not letting those things get to you because they very well can get to you. So
Yeah, and I think like you said, you were the top runner in the region. You were a 4:16 mile as a senior, and you were still really nervous. I mean, not like you're having a panic attack, but like you could tell, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I think every kid this next 2 or 3 weeks, they're nervous because they care about what they do. And I had to talk to with one of my girls who should hopefully run really good tomorrow. And I was like, listen, every girl you're running against works their butt off to be here. Like at this point in the season, like this isn't like girls that are just doing it or kids just doing it to do it. Like they're here for a reason. And I think once you realize like you have all these kids running with you and they're gonna push you, but if you can just understand like how big this not how big the moment is, but just to take advantage of this moment, the sky is the limit for you. You know what I mean? Like you can
but and here's the other thing that I mean I've talked about with my coach is that in the grand scheme of things, why do you run? You run because you love it. You run because you love the sport. You enjoy doing it. Don't make it bigger than what it is. It's not life
Mhm.
or death. You're not gonna die if you don't run good. And that's the big thing is that a lot of athletes make running out, and including me, I've done this plenty of times before, make this running thing out to be more than what it is. When at the end of the day, it's just something that you've started because you like running. Nothing more, nothing. I know you want to do good, but at the end of the day, running is just running. You
And
know,
I'm gonna stress to my seniors tomorrow, just enjoy the moment. Like this, you're not gonna be, 20
you're not going
years
to be in
from
high
now,
school again.
yeah, you're not
Yeah,
gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to feel, 'cause I don't run anymore. You're not gonna feel these type of nerves like the way it's a different feeling. You know what I mean? There's no
yeah.
other feeling like it.
And
And
I'm gonna be honest, a lot of adults out there that live their life and do these regular jobs. Not to say that there's nothing wrong with that, but I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like a lot of adults just don't go through stressful situations, like nervous, like nerve
yeah,
wracking stressful situations, like how running gives you. Like obviously there's things to do for your job. Like if you don't do this,
it's
you
a
might lose your
different type of
job. It's
stress.
it's different. Yeah, it's different, and it's a good stress in a way. Like I said,
It's a fun
if you
stress.
if you control these nerves in the right way, it'll be good for you. Like a good example is Nick Simmons. My bad. Pause. Um, but Nick Simmons talks about this in one of his videos about how him as a two-time Olympic like runner was fifth in the world at one point. Um, Even he would get nervous before his races, and if that guy's getting nervous for his races, like like you can only imagine all the other people that get nervous before their races. So it's not a bad thing to be nervous, but it is a bad thing if you use your nerves in the wrong sense. So
hmm Um, just because I know some kids, everyone should be nervous, but like just kind of transition into something else.
so championship season also will probably require you to watch what you eat and diet.
Okay.
For me, diet is a huge thing, at least. It and this is different for everybody. I'm not one of those people that can eat whatever they want before a race and still perform great. My friend Alex, on the other hand, who we've had on the podcast before, and we talked about on his podcast, can literally eat anything, go to sleep at 3 a.m. the night before, and still run a PR. Like literally. Um, but it's basically it's all about what works for you. If something works for you, don't change it. Don't change it a week from the race. And if something does change a little bit, don't panic. That's the other thing. Don't like you can't panic about it. If you don't get chicken pasta from Olive Garden the night before and you get it from Carrabba's instead, don't panic because it's not that big of a deal, you know. Um, but me personally, I like to eat, a lot of fruit, carbs, and drink a lot of water before my races. I mean, that's just my diet period, but I especially put emphasis on it before a race. So, and not just the day before a race. This is the week of, you know. Um, so what have we tackled so far? Diet and nerves. You have
Um,
any other ideas?
the one I want to talk, it's kind of with nerves, but not really. Is when you're talking about that 800 when you're at 151,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you're at the 500, and it's kind of that moment in the race where if it's every point, it depends on what race it is, but there's a moment in the race where you can say, I'm dead, and I'm not gonna like I'm not give up, but just not gonna push myself to that next gear. Or I don't know if you want to use the wise words what your former coach once told you.
Well, okay, just not safe for work. Language warning here. But it's either you're gonna be a pussy or you're gonna go. It's nothing in between. It's either you be a pussy and stay back, or you grow some balls and you make the move. Um, and self-talk is one of those things that like during a race you have to remember because in my races, like sometimes I'll forget like when like everybody has this kind of race strategy when they go into a race, and then when the gun goes off, everything's gets thrown out the door, and you're like just like you're just focusing on breathing and hanging on to what like the front pack or whatever, or hanging on to lead, whatever it may be. Um, just not having a clear head because it's going to happen to everybody. But remembering your race strategy is one of those things that you need to like think about during the race. Like if I need to make a move here, I make a move here. Like things happen during a race, obviously. So not every race is going to go how you expect it to in your head, but you have to be mindful of what you're thinking during a race. You can't just not think anything because when I've not thought anything during my races, I've run terrible. So
And I was telling my runners in the kind of same thing before, but like everyone at regional meet or whatever meet, they're going to want to qualify for the next meet. So kind of whatever your plan happens, most of the time it kind of goes out the window because kids are just running crazy and just trying
yeah,
to do something.
it's literally just survive in advance.
Yeah, so that's why like you should have a strategy, but like 90% of the time it's gonna go out the window 200 meters into it, and you just gotta figure it out, and you can't make
Yeah,
excuses. You just gotta go and you gotta figure it out. You might get out faster than usual, and you just gotta go. There's no.
yeah, and I think in college it's a bit different
Hmm.
because high school kids are just kind of trying like just racing. There's not really any strategy involved, but when you're going out really hard in like in high school, I never got out harder than 56.5 in the first four of an eight. And in college, I've never gotten out slower than like 55. Well, aside from that first race of the season, but it's like the same thing.
Yeah. So,
So self-talk is very big, very, very big.
and do you mean like, cause like, and you're saying like don't think about the meet a week before, but you're talking like during the warm up, like right before on the line, like when you mean do the self talk.
Well, right before the line, I mean, not before the line, but right before you're about to go out and step onto the track, you should remind yourself of what you need to do during the race or like how, because sometimes, like I said, those things just go out of the door. You forget. You're like, damn, I forgot to do those things during the race. Like it could be something as simple as breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or like just make sure to drop your arms when at this point in the race or something like that. So it's some like because I don't know about y'all, but whenever I race, most of the time I can't hear anything. Like I don't recall anybody screaming at me or talking to me during the race. There's only like very few words that I can hear from like select people. So like
Hmm.
I said, you just have to like know what's best for you and what you need to think about before a race and stuff. So
Yeah, no, that's
and
great.
so and um I guess aside from just mental prep, physical prep. So I guess you could get into tapering because I know you've wanted to talk about this.
Tapering?
Yeah,
Uh, but like, what are you talking like the day before? Or what do you mean the week before?
a
Because
week out. It can be a week, a day,
it
a
depends.
month.
But like, I think the big thing is like every athlete's different, and I'm gonna go off, but like with one of my runners, I was like, oh, he needs to do more speed because at the end of the season you do speed. What I do, give him too much speed, his body was fried at the last meet. Um, one of my runners that run high mileage, like I decreased his mileage too much, and then he didn't run well as he should have. So it's just like it really depends on the person. I feel like if you have, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say this is and I don't know if you guys have noticed this trend, but it's basically whatever works for you. If something
Yeah.
works for you, do not change it, because it's everything's different for everybody.
And I was gonna say, like, if you have the relationship with your coach, and maybe discuss like what do you think works best for you week out for your last week of training. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because before I would just give one normal workout for everyone, and then I'd see half the kids have huge PRs, and then half the kids run horrible, and I'm like, they had a bad race, and I'm like, wait, Ryan, you're smarter than that. Like, that's not why. So, it just like you said, it depends on the person. Like how you're saying with eating, some people need to eat perfect, some people need to eat a bag of Skittles, which I've seen before.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, whatever works for you, I just think is true.
Some people also need to eat a double bacon cheeseburger from McDonald's the day before an 8 by 1K workout.
That was 12 by one.
12 by 1K.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think you just nailed it on the dot. Honestly, it depends on you. Some guys need that speed, some guys need that long stuff. For my distance guys, they want long, easy runs kind of before their season ends. My shorter guys or guys that don't like long reps, they just want some strides, maybe some 200s, get the legs turning. But it depends. It just really depends on you. Just trust your gut. Whatever you feel like you feel more comfortable with, go with that. Um, yeah, I don't tapering it to me, that's just like an hour conversation. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
Um,
but just know that um again, tapering, like whatever your coach feels is best for you,
yeah,
follow.
but
Don't
have
try
that
and do not try and stray away from what your coach tells you, because most of the time that the coach knows more than the athlete.
yeah, and
Well,
have that.
I'd say 90% of the time.
And like I asked my kids, I'm like, what workouts do you like more? What do you feel? And then we'll talk about it, and then we'll discuss about it, and we'll figure something out. Um, so yeah. But besides tapering, I'm trying to think because else physical before meet. Um,
Stretching.
Stretching. I mean, the only thing, just make sure you warm up at an appropriate time before you meet. The last thing you want to do is warm up late for your last race. I would double check what time your race is and just kind of make sure it's at that time. For me personally, I'm making my guys warm up a little earlier than usual, just so they can be a little more focused as a big meet.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I don't do anything. Don't change anything. If you read, oh, if you run fast in the warm up, you're gonna go faster. No, just do what you've been doing. Figure out what works for you, like you've been kind of saying.
Yeah, and I mean also guys, like, just don't forget to just have fun with it, cuz one day you'll look back and thank yourself for just having fun with it, cuz a lot of people just take the sport too serious.
Yeah.
They really
Yes.
do. And then you just you don't want to leave the sport of running with a bad taste in your mouth.
And like, I know running does suck at times, but like just realize like
You
how
won't be able to do
lucky,
this forever.
yeah, just realize how lucky you are that if you're 15 years old or 20 years old, like you're running. It sounds weird to say you're running for fun, but you really are looking back at it. It's like I'm running with high schoolers. I'm never gonna be able to do this again. I'm never gonna be able to have this high competition like this.
And even college coaches will understand that as well. Like, obviously the desire to be great is there, but not to the point where you're stressing out every day of your life because you have to run 8 miles on the dot every day. You have to run at this time every day. You have to run this time at this meet if you want to make this, and blah 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 blah. Just have fun, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just have fun with it.
Enjoy
So
it. because this is only gonna last so long. And
Yeah. Unless you're somebody like I don't know, that keeps running into their 40s or 50s.
or those like 100-year-old guys that are sprinting. You see
Oh
those guys?
yeah, like the masters division.
Yeah,
That
that's. But yeah. I mean, besides that, I mean, I see you drinking a Gatorade. I mean, this is logic. I wouldn't drink a huge
fluids.
Gatorade before. Uh, but just hydrate, and I feel like it's all common sense. If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, a week before your meet, probably didn't have the greatest season.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but other than that, I mean, I feel like we've covered almost everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, yeah. One thing I'll say real quick, because my runner just got new spikes, and I've been making him use it a couple of times before this race. If you have like new special spikes or something, you want to break in them before you try it for the first time at your big
Hmm.
race, Um, which that happened to my runner, and his toe was bleeding like crazy after. So, but
Uh,
besides that,
yeah,
last words.
and I will say last thing, I mean, if you guys are spiritual or whatever, pray before your race. If that's another thing that helps me with my nerves. I say a prayer and I'm good to go. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. I do the same thing. So
yep.
just to, if I think kind of the key thing too with that is just try to like obviously be in the moment, but at the same time try to like just not think about it for like even if it's 20 seconds. You know what I mean? Like just get your mind somewhere else and just kind of like relax, and then okay, realize where you are, and then just understand what you gotta do. So um yeah, I feel like we got everything. So unless you got anything else, you can finish it off.
I'm all good. So
You got
with
the
that,
Yeah.
we have finished our second episode of the day. And I'm Garrett Ricardo with my co-host Ryan Mazzozo. We are a Distance Theory podcast, and we are signing out for the second time.